Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov on Wednesday commented on the cancelled meeting between top US, British, French and Ukrainian diplomats in London. According to Associated Press, Peskov said during the phone briefing with reporters that, as far as we understand, it has not yet been possible to bring positions on some issues closer together. We continue our contacts with the Americans, we have no contact with the Europeans, and with the Ukrainians as well. Although President Putin remains open to such contacts, Peskov said in a call with reporters. Kremlin spokesman also reaffirmed that Russia continues to oppose the deployment of any European troops to Ukraine as part of a settlement, noting that it will effectively amount to the deployment of NATO's forces and assets to Ukraine. This is actually what was the root cause, one of the root causes, for the start of the special military operation, he added. Commenting on whether Moscow is ready to freeze the fighting along the current line of contact and regarding demands for the recognition of Crimea as Russian as part of a deal, Peskov said that the Kremlin wouldn't publicly discuss details of the negotiations. Any drafts of settlement options cannot be public. As soon as they become public they lose their effectiveness. Work is conducted in a discreet manner and it should be conducted in silence, he said. A planned meeting Wednesday between top US, British, French and Ukrainian diplomats to push for a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine was scrapped at the last minute amid little sign of progress in international efforts to end the more than 3-year conflict.
Насколько мы понимаем, пока не удалось сблизить позиции по каким-то вопросам, и поэтому эта встреча сейчас не состоялась. Мы продолжаем наши контакты с американцами, контактов с европейцами у нас нет, контактов с украинцами тоже, хотя президент Путин сохраняет свою открытость к таким контактам. Россия по-прежнему выступает против, фактически это будут силы и средства НАТО на территории Украины. То есть это, собственно, то, что было первопричиной для начала, одной из первопричин для начала специальной военной операции. Сейчас ситуация достаточно подвижная, поэтому все очень быстро меняется, и поэтому будем вас информировать уже, что называется, по факту, с тем, чтобы исключить какие-то неправильные ожидания, неправильные понимания и так далее. Любые наброски разных вариантов регулирования не могут быть публичными. Как только они становятся публичными, они теряют свою эффективность. Работа ведется в дискретном режиме, и она должна вестись в работе тишины.
The Atesh partisan movement has called on Crimean residents to help gather information needed to destroy the Crimean Bridge. The partisans made the appeal via Telegram, according to Ukrinform. The Kerch Bridge has become a key element in the occupation of Crimea and must be destroyed. We, the Atesh movement, are reaching out to the residents of Kerch and all of Crimea. Help us collect critical information about the Kerch or Crimean Bridge and its security, the statement reads. The partisans are asking Crimean residents to send photos, videos, coordinates of air defense positions, patrol routes and information on military equipment movements. Every piece of information is a step toward the liberation of Crimea. The group added, Ukraine's SBU, State Security Service, attacked the Crimean Bridge twice. First in October 2022 using a truck carrying explosives, and then in July 2023 using maritime drones. Recently, Oleksiy Nizpapa, commander of the naval forces of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, has said that the Kerch Bridge, which connects occupied Crimea with Russian territory, remains a target for Ukraine's defense forces, but stressed the need to maintain information silence. Of course, the bridge is a difficult target, especially now. But in life, there is no fortress that cannot be destroyed. There are no borders that cannot be crossed. And the bridge is the same. It's the same target as everything else, he added. The Navy commander also stressed that in order to achieve success, information silence must be maintained. And if we say that tomorrow we intend to hit the Crimean Bridge, the enemy would probably find out about it through television. Or if we say that we won't hit it, well, that's not right, Nizpapa added. He also noted that the number of strikes on Crimea has not decreased. Perhaps their intensity is lower. I did not conduct such analysis, less or more. Everything is working as usual. just like all other fronts. Therefore, there are targets in Crimea and other areas where the enemy is, of course. That's why I can't provide you with such analytics. Targets get hit. Perhaps not all of them are known from the press, of course. Perhaps the intensity is not so great. Perhaps this is due to the importance of other areas, said Niespapa. In the Russian Z segment of Telegram, alarming confessions are becoming increasingly loud. Putin no longer controls the Russian army, and the commanders of the Russian armed forces are sabotaging any attempts to conclude a truce. The reason is simple. Peace means the end of the war, and therefore the end of the gold mine on which the commanders profit. The journalist and blogger Denis Kazansky drew attention to the messages from Russian Z War correspondents. One of the Z channels of Shadows of Rus openly writes, "For many officers, war is a business scheme for squeezing out soldiers' payments, going hand in hand with looting, selling humanitarian aid, extortion, and extortion from their own subordinates. SVO has become a source of enrichment, where money flows like a river. A truce threatens to shallow this flow and poses a danger, because in peacetime, one will have to answer for what has been done. And the system, as the channel notes, has to eat someone." This is especially vividly confirmed by the recent story of the detention of the battalion commander and company commander of the 55th Motorized Rifle Brigade. As it turned out, they had built a criminal scheme for extortion from soldiers on the spot, and the scheme involved former prisoners who had now become administrators, straight from prison to command. Thus, Russian propagandists themselves admit peace is harmful for the Puziks, the bandit commanders. They do not want to stop military actions, because then the income will disappear, and in its place criminal liability may come, and most importantly, no one controls them. Commander Goodwin's story shows that Putin has neither the leverage nor the desire to change anything. And this is especially ironic against the backdrop of Putin's own recent statements that the Ukrainian army allegedly does not obey Zelensky, when in fact it is the Russian units that have stopped obeying Putin. The army has turned into a farce, with looters, racketeering, criminal schemes and outright sabotage of the government. Since the beginning of Russia's military attacks on Ukraine on February the 24th, there have been reports of low troop morale among Russian forces. The morale and psychological conditions of the said personnel is low and tends to deteriorate. Russian forces are under immense strain, with reports indicating that they have lost over 5,000 tanks and armoured vehicles in the past year alone. The Kremlin is struggling to replace these losses, forcing its troops to rely more on infantry-led assaults. Despite these challenges, Moscow continues to push forward, hoping to outlast Ukraine and its Western allies. The question now is whether the West will step up or hesitate at a crucial moment.